Hey Wargamers, this is Matthew from MiniWarGaming.com. I want to show you something I just discovered recently. Mike Necron guy, or Mike whatever guy, introduced me to it, and we sell it on our online store, and we have for a little while, but I never really used it. And it's called Miliput. So here, take a look at this. It's kind of like green stuff, and that is a putty, except this stuff looks like, use your imagination. Anyway, but it works the same way, that you have the two parts and you mix them together and you end up with the Miliput. That's, this is brown. It's not really anything like the green stuff where it's blue and yellow becomes green. But it has its uses. Sculptors will use Miliput. This is why we would stock it, because I knew that sculptors were interested in it, because it hardens more than green stuff. Green stuff is still a little rubbery or a little flexible when it's hardened, which is fine because it holds the detail better that way. But Miliput, when you sculpt something, let's say you're sculpting a model, you can use Miliput to sculpt the skeleton of it, and it'll harden, and then you can put green stuff over it and then make your model. But that's not the use that I discovered today. The use I discovered today is that Miliput is very, very good for filling gaps. For example, I've been putting together some Khador Man-O-War shock troopers for my War Machine army, because I'm collecting a Khador army right now. And when I put them together, they unfortunately have this huge gap right here. Now normally what I would do is I would take a line of green stuff and put it through there, but it's really hard because the green stuff sticks, even when I use water, and then afterwards I have to kind of sculpt it. I never get it to look quite right. I'm not a very good sculptor. And so I just usually will leave the gaps. I know I'm not supposed to, but I usually do, just because it looks better to have the gap than to have what I do to it when I stick green stuff in it. But then Mike just suggested to me that what you do is you mix up a bit of Miliput, and because of the way this stuff hardens and dries and the way that it's smellable right now, it doesn't stick. It doesn't stick to my fingers like green stuff does. And all I have to do is stick it into the gap and then use a toothpick just to move it around, and you get this. So you can compare the two. I'm going to try to get the proper lighting for this. And you can see that the gaps are filled nicely in this one. There's still obviously a gap that's supposed to be there as a contour line, but you can see that there's not that obvious line where the two things were glued together. I still use green stuff a lot. Like I use green stuff to stick on these guys' arms and weapons with glue as well, and then I'll shave off the extra green stuff once it's dry. So I still love that, but this Miliput is so great. I want to show you right now how it works, so you can see how easy it is to do this. So hopefully we can get nice and close in here. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a tiny bit of this, and this doesn't take very long, but like I said, I've only done this a couple times, so just watch how easy this is for somebody that's a beginner like me at using it. So I take a small amount, as you can see. My fingers are kind of giving you scale there, and just put it on there where the gap is. Here, I'll move my finger in a second just to show you where it is. Just let it fall in. Alright, so there it is right there. And then I just grab a toothpick, and I just start to work it in. So you just start working at it. I just push it in. You can see that whatever is not in the gap is crumbling, rather than just making a mess everywhere else. And I'll be able to quickly get rid of that once I'm done. I'm not going to do all of it right here on the camera, because obviously I'm going to want to fill all these gaps, but I just want to show you just quickly what happens when we do it. And once I've forced it all in there, I'm just going to clear away the excess. I'm going to clean off my toothpick, and I'll use my toothpick just to draw the line back in, because I do want a little bit of a recess there. Still a bit of a gap right there, and I'll fill that after this video is done. I'm going to have to make another little bit and stick it on there. Still, even this few short seconds, here we are. Take a look at that. Compare the two sides of this. You have I'll use a toothpick here to point. You have the gaps here all the way up to here. And then look what happened when I stuck the Miliput in there. And I use a tiny, tiny bit of it. So one package of this stuff will last you quite a while. And like I said, we sell it in our online store under the putty. So make sure you look under the modeling putty category, and you can get your own. And so whenever you have gaps now, and this works for plastic or metal miniatures of any type, War Machine, Warhammer, 40K, whatever, it doesn't really matter. You can use Miliput to fill in the gaps of your miniatures really, really quickly and easily. And you can see that right there is very neat, as opposed to if I was to stick green stuff in there and try to sculpt it, and it just, I don't know, I make a mess with it. I know some people are really good at that, but for people like me who like to cut corners and get things done faster, it's nice to use Use Miliput because of how quickly it works. So I just wanted to show you that really quickly because I was in the middle of putting these guys together and I realized how awesome it was. So I just wanted to make a quick video so that you can take this tip and apply it to your assembly so you can make your miniatures even better. So, happy wargaming!